Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am finally going to rip out some of these overgrown cool season veggies and get them replanted for the summer season with a wide variety of tomatoes, peppers, zucchini, squash, cucumbers, and lots of different flowers. I can't wait to get this process done. I feel like I have waited long enough for these cool season veggies that mostly haven't really performed this spring, and it is time to jump on the bandwagon for the warm season. Well, as you can see, I have big overgrown broccolis, I have cabbages that aren't heading, and you know what? The cross-striped cabbage worms have arrived, and that to me is sort of the sign that I need to just give up and try again this fall. But I can grow things in these bags that are actually going to produce a whole lot more and look a lot healthier. So I feel like I've given it my best. I've had a long season with these cool season crops. I'm even going to go ahead and pull out the garlic, which is a little premature in these, but it's okay. They're still edible. And I really just want to start with a blank slate here. So you can see there's a lot of room in these 100-gallon root pouches now that I've completely cleaned them out. I'm going to top dress them with more soil cube just to kind of fill them up to about this level, so another couple of inches, and then it'll be time for me to do my summer planting. Okay, so I have gotten these bags emptied, top dressed with more fresh soil cube compost, and I've gotten the space organized. You can see I put a cattle panel behind here. That will be used for staking tomatoes and letting the cucumbers sort of ramble onto it. Ultimately, the cucumbers attach themselves to the greenhouse. Important to note here, this is the west side of my greenhouse. So this gets the really hot part of the late day sun. I am doing hydroponics on the east side of my greenhouse because that actually will help keep the water cooler. But on this side, I have great success using these 100-gallon root pouches. I actually have 2 root pouches on the other side. I wish I could move them, but they're entirely too big, and I'm not going to I'm not going to take all the soil out. So they're going to stay where they are. So now I am just going to scatter in some garden tone. This is just, I think, the easiest to use organic fertilizer. It's good for everything, especially summer vegetables. And I'm just sort of, as you can see, top dressing. And I'm also going to add some to each one of these tomato bags that I planted a few weeks ago. This is just going to get everything kind of staged for growing out. You see, the only thing I didn't remove from this bag is this calendula that I seeded. I seeded like 400 calendula. I got 1 plant. So there you have it. I'm preserving the 1 plant that grew. Okay, so what are the plants that I'm putting in? Well, I've decided to just go ahead and be my eccentric self, and I'm going to plant these pre-germinated Bloody Butcher corns in the middle. And I know that's probably absurd, but I think it'll look cool. And it's also something to maybe help trellis some of the cucumbers on. Might not work that way. It's totally fine. Ooh, the mosquitoes are out here. In this one, I'm putting tomato white beauty towards the back. These look terrible because they dried out while I was at the beach. So these are going to get planted really deep, and hopefully they'll recover. You know, I think I officially have 55 cultivars of tomatoes, so if I lose some, it doesn't matter. Really, in the big picture, I've gotten a lot less sensitive about tomato failures. Then I have jalapeno peppers, the cucumbers, as I mentioned, I have some basil, and over here I'm going to do Italian grape. And this is a variety that you won't fail with. This is just one of the most reliable grape tomatoes, so similar to cherry, just, you know, it's slightly different shape and super floriferous. And I just love this because it's one that you can eat while you're walking around watering and pruning and stuff through the summer. And granted, 3 in 1 bag is probably excessive, but that's what I do. I overplant. So I'm going to get these things planted, and then I am going to mulch this with triple shred hardwood. So I know all winter long I kept saying I don't use mulch, I don't use mulch. I should have been more specific. I don't use mulch in the winter, but I do use mulch in the summer. However, I use a lot less than what I used to use, particularly in the depth. I'm really just top dressing, you know, maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch to help maintain the moisture. It also helps reduce weed pressure. Of course, in these root pouches, weed pressure isn't really a problem. But through the summer season, especially with these getting full western exposure, maintaining moisture is important. These will end up being watered daily unless we get rain. But the mulch will help to some degree to make sure that those top couple of inches don't dry out too completely in between waterings. All right, so as you can see, I've gotten these 200-gallon root pouches replanted, and I have another one over here, which I am growing a kitty in. That's Sophia, the golden panther. She loves to help me garden. And this one has a peach in it. And over the winter, I transplanted 2 peaches. These are peaches I was trialing. And I was hopeful that this one was going to set some fruit, but it hasn't. All of that is Prunus mume, which is from this tree, the flowering apricot. So the problem with this peach is it's getting this tip dieback. I think this is probably from a borer. Borers are a big problem. I'm not sure if it's ambrosia beetle specifically. And I'm debating on whether or not I just want to cut it down, since I have 2 others that are in the landscape growing. And then I'd be able to plant this root pouch a bit more meaningfully, again with like tomatoes and cucumbers. Otherwise, this is really shady. It's difficult to grow any of those summer fruiting things. So I also have some other big pots. Here's one that is filled with potatoes there. Then I have this one that this Lonicera has been growing in for years and years, and I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and fill it up with compost and then put some of my favorite, one of my favorite tomatoes, cream sausage in it, and grow it out over here. But I'm pleased with how these look. I'll be really excited to share updates with you as these grow out. So the final step will be just getting these watered in. I'm hoping if I do that, I currently have the water running, sprinkling other parts of the yard, that the weather forecast will come true and we will actually get some rain. All right, so with Aiden's encouragement or approval, we went ahead and removed the peach, and it's amazing how much brighter this area already is. Now, this is the only root pouch I have that I didn't put the cattle fence in as like a skeleton to hold it up. And it needs it because it's sagging really badly, but this is not going to be the season that I do that. I should probably do that in the fall before I plant this for winter. So I'm putting this in the video to hold myself accountable. And now I'm just going to top dress this. Like you can see when the soil isn't all the way up to the top, it flaps down, and then it's really hard to water that part of it. So that's why putting the cattle fence panel to give it structural integrity is such a great idea, and it's like the long-term solution. I didn't know about that when I first did these. I did this one last March, so like right before the pandemic hit, and I've learned a lot about using these grow bags in the last 15 months. And then I have some absolutely enormous tomatoes that really are desperate to get planted. So I'm going to put these in here. And also just, put in some additional cucumbers and some more jalapeno peppers. Again, this western facing area is really great for these summer fruiting plants. And this is right next to a water hose, so it's really easy to keep this irrigated. Not all parts of the foodscape lend themselves to be conveniently watered, as Aiden experienced this past weekend while I was away. He had the responsibility of keeping everything watered while it's 90 degrees and we don't have any rainfall. So, all right, well, now it's time to get busy shoveling. Okay, so now we're really in business. We've got all 3 of these root pouches replanted for the summer. I decided to go ahead and add some corn to this one as well. So all 3 have Bloody Butcher corn. They have tomatoes, cucumbers, and jalapeno peppers. This one still has some sweet peas and some snapdragons growing in it. And I think this is going to be awesome. I've gotten a few other pots situated here along with cattle fence to be able to train all of this. And I think it's going to be a good summer. I look forward to giving you updates on these 3 100-gallon root pouches here on the west side of my greenhouse, planted with summer vegetables. If you found this video to be helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to Bree the Plant Lady and hit that bell notification so you'll know when I post a new video. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.